Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Speed Racing Network's coverage of the Truck Series. We're in week 2. I'm Greg Olenik here with my co-host Brandon Domingue here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. Brandon, how's it going tonight, bud?
It is always good when it is race night and we get to watch some fun out here at Kansas on the mile and a half. First time we're going to an intermediate. Excited to see what we're going to be seeing. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I'm excited to get away from the craziness that is Daytona and get out here at one of the tougher mile and a half tracks. We're going to be out here at Kansas Speedway, like you mentioned, and this track is very interesting when it comes to the mile and a halves, just in the fact that it has so many different racing lanes, and that promotes some really good racing. What do you expect to see here tonight, Brandon?
A whole lot of 3 wide, and it's always great at Kansas because you're going to have that progressive banking. The inside lane is going to work for some, the middle is going to work for others. That high line, that Darlington type line, is going to be working for some, if not maybe most of the field. And then you got that front stretch where we could be seeing 3-4 wide, possibly 5 wide if people are desperate enough. Not that I recommend 5 wide, but you might see it happen tonight. So it's always going to be interesting, as always at Kansas. Excited to see it.
Yeah, with 40 trucks out there, there's going to be all kinds of passes, slide jobs, people hitting the wall just because, like you said, we're going to be running that high line. So, yeah, we're going to get it's going to get interesting here tonight, and I expect to see a really good race and a fun one at that. Like I said, we're all relieved to be past Daytona. We're going to really see who has it this season. But let's go ahead and move on to see what we are getting into this weekend. You see it right there on your screen. This is the Jayhawk 125 at Kansas Speedway, 85 laps. And like we mentioned last week in the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show, one faster pair in the Truck Series, Brandon.
Yeah, and that definitely, I think, played a role in what we saw last week on the Xfinity side, going from 1 to 0. You saw an entirely different race. We're going from 2 to 1 here in the Truck Series, and we still saw aggressive racing early on at Daytona because everybody knew they had that one faster pair in their back pocket. I think that played a big role in it. I think the jitters to start a season also had a role there. But I think tonight you're going to see people realize that last week it didn't really work for everybody to be aggressive out of the gate with that faster pair. I think we'll see a little bit more settled down racing, but they'll still have some aggression to it, knowing they can get that quick fix.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I don't think we will see the exact same type of aggression that we saw because at super speedways, there's not as much tire management that goes into your race strategy. We will have to see that here tonight at Kansas Speedway if you expect to become a winner here in Speed Racing Network. So let's go ahead and talk about our Truck League details next. You see it right there on the right side of the screen. This is a 20-week fixed setup league. We already harped on the one faster pair here in the Truck Series. That is the only one across all 3 series. It's $5 a week to enter into the race, and you are racing for weekly and season payouts. You see it right there, $300 going to our first place champion, and then we have 5-person teams that are racing for $100 for the team championship, Brandon. So we got a lot we're running for out here.
Yeah, and that team championship, I think on the truck side, is probably the most intriguing battle when it comes to the team side, just because of the new format where we're going into the playoff bracket there as well, seeding the teams 1 to 8 that qualify, but we got more than 8 teams that are going to be running in the series, so you're going to have to show up every single week, have a good showing as a team for your top 3 drivers to maximize those points just to be in the running to get that $100 team title.
Yeah, the team title is going to be an exciting run towards the end of the season as we have a new playoff bracket like we mentioned last week. It's going to add a whole nother level of excitement on top of our individual championship going on as well. Let's go ahead and check out the race payouts here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. You see it right there. First place going to come away with $15, tripling their money. Second's going to get 10, and third through fifth going to get their $5 back.
Yeah, and that's what we always talk about. It's always nice if you get that 3rd to 5th position, you are getting your money back, and you can put it forward to next week. If you get that 2nd place, you're doubling it. 1st place, you're tripling your money, and that really pays off up until we get through the 4th race of the season if you haven't already paid that far already. So nice little payouts here in our Truck Series for only having a $5 buy-in each week to get that weekly payout along with the full season payout. Just a nice chunk of cash here available in our truck series.
Yeah, our Daytona winner coming away with a nice $15, Sean Jensick last week. So it's definitely capable of making some money here in Speed Racing Network. They always like to mention that they've paid out over $15,000 each season through all their series and drivers. So definitely a lot of money on the line. Let's go ahead and bring up our next part of the show here at the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. And it's something that you and I both use, Brandon. It's the Kane Cook sim coaching right there. And I always like to mention to our viewers that this man knows what he's talking about. I actually had a session with him before our race this evening, and I'm actually feeling really confident about my chances tomorrow if I can keep it off the wall. I like to mention that before we get to tomorrow, because we will be racing the Highline in the Xfinity Series. But Kane Cook, you see it there on the screen, has 2 accounts, both of which are professional accounts over 7,000 iRating, and he's at the highest series in iRacing, running in that Coca-Cola series with the big guys. So if you want to learn from someone, this is the guy, and we have him here at Speed Racing Network.
Yeah, and you brought up confidence in this week's race, and I think that's the big thing that people come away from any session with them with is, yes, you do get your skills improved, and you might work on some of the things that you don't really think about, like camera settings and things like that, and how you view inside the cockpit there, the virtual cockpit. But I think the confidence thing is a big part that Kane helps kind of bring to anybody that's worked with him. I know it was the case for me and a couple of teammates that have used him in the past as well. So definitely, if you're wanting to get better at iRacing, this is a great resource to check out.
Yeah, and it's really easy to check out as well and book your session. You see it there in the red. Just go over to speedracingnetwork.com, and you'll see it right on the homepage. It's a real easy process to go through, and he will get in touch with you, set up a time and date, and everything will be smooth. And by then, you're going to have your session and be ready to go for your next race. So let's go ahead and move on to our next segment here, sponsored by Beer Street Journal. It's the Beer of the Week, and Sean Griffith has this week's Beer of the Week.
This week's Beer of the Week comes out of the New Realm Brewing Company in Georgia. They call it Tyrannosaurus Flex. It's part of the brewery's Monsters and Myths Double IPA series. The can itself is rocking a sweet 80s vibe along with a picture of the T-Flex himself. Inside the can, the beer is brewed with hops from New Zealand and yeast from Norway. It's an interesting combination that gives this double IPA some mango, pineapple, peach, apricot, and some other citrus flavors. This beer was originally released in 2019, but it fell into extinction until New Realm Brewing Company decided to bring it back to life. You can find this beer in all the New Realm Brewing Company locations, including Atlanta, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, Virginia Beach, and Charleston, South Carolina. But don't wait too long or the T-Flex may once again become extinct. The Beer of the Week is brought to you by Beer Street Journal. Beer Street Journal brings you reviews of the latest and greatest beers from all across the country. Go to beerstreetjournal.com to find your next great beer. And as always, you must be 21 and please drink responsibly.
Well, we like to thank Beer Street Journal, as always, for giving us our Beer of the Week. And you can't get much cooler than the Tyrannosaurus Flex from New Realm Brewing Company. And Brandon, from what I hear, they have one of these in Atlanta, so you might have to go check them out.
Yeah, that's going to go on the list there. I've seen them around and haven't been able to visit. I'm a Texas guy at heart, but living in Atlanta, plenty of breweries out here, so always exciting to see an Atlanta one here mentioned by Beer Street Journal in our Beer of the Week.
So we'll go ahead and check out our individual standings here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. Only one race in, so not much to mention here. But right there, our leader, our winner last week, Sean Jensick, a rookie here in the SRN Truck Series. He's in first place with 44 points, closely followed by Kevin Winker and Dave Hughes Jr. in the top 3.
Yeah, and you're really looking a pretty decent way down, and Daytona will do that for any of our title favorites that are coming over from last year that were in our, really those 4 or 5 drivers that had just dominance all season long. And you're looking at the defending champion Cole Martin sitting in that tie for 8th. Michael Madden, one of the championship 5, is sitting in the 10th position. So you're having to see this shakeup Daytona does that. We're starting to get to the more traditional style races that really will play out for most of the season. So this is a long, long way away from the playoffs, and we're going to see a lot of shaking up, I think.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and check outside the cut. And like we mentioned, this is just week one, so this will get all sorts of shaken up. But right there, sitting outside the cut, you got Lucas Lyons from Rev Racing, Jack Johnson from Jonathan Byer, as well as Cody Riggs. Any names stick out to you, Brandon, before we move on?
Well, one that I'm definitely looking for a good night from tonight is actually sitting in 26th, and that's Michael York, somebody that came along very strong late last season. I think that's an anomaly that we saw him there in the back of Daytona. Just one of those things that happens at a plate track. I think he'll start moving up pretty quickly.
Let's check out our team championship standings also here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. And right there, I love seeing that first place team. I'm a little biased, but we got Rev Racing with that one win on the season. Like we mentioned, only 1 week so far with Daytona already in the books, but a really close race. Zuyos Racing only 1 point behind. And then you got Stryker Motorsports, your team there, sitting in third, Brandon.
Yeah, good start for all three there. And really, you look at how close it is from third to sixth. I think that's going to be something that we'll see a lot, the top six kind of staying in that pack. It looks like R&D, do-gooders, and 13 Folds. Bit of a rough start at Daytona. Still plenty of time, though, to move into those 8 playoff positions.
Yeah, and unlike last year, like I mentioned, there's a playoff format which will keep all these teams in the mix, so we will get more into that as the season goes on. But let's go ahead and jump into our team intros, and we have a lot of trucks out there tonight, 40 out there in the field. The first one we're going to mention, though, is Rev Racing. They're sitting at the top of the team standings, and their team is stacked here this year. We got the 7 of Lucas Lyons, the 15 of Michael Madden, the 29 of Sean Jensick, last week's winner, and then the 97 of Sean Kozier in the 224 truck of Cody Riggs.
Yeah, and your attention gets drawn to that winner sticker for the first-time racer, first-time winner, Sean Jensick in the 29. Michael Madden, one of the top drivers all season last year, especially on mile and a halves. Keep an eye on him tonight.
Let's go ahead and move on to our second place team here. It's a new team here to SRN, headed by Rob Yost. He was a great contender last year. It's Zoo Yost Racing, and don't feed the animals. You see it right there on the screen. They have put together quite a nice team, contending with Blair Holloman, John Taylor, Dave Fuge Jr., Cup driver last year, Jamie Plord, who was a Truck Series winner last year, and then the 98, I already mentioned him, Rob Yost Jr., that is the captain of the team.
Yeah, and he's sitting there in 5th in points after the first race. Dave Fuge Jr. sitting in 3rd. So they're, I believe, the only team that has multiple drivers inside the top 5 after Daytona last week.
So we'll see what they can do here at Kansas tonight. Another team, that's been around Speed Racing Network for quite a while, had a lot of good drivers on it, and they have a really good team this year. You see it fast as lightning. It's going to be Stryker Motorsports with the 1 truck of Matt Johnson out there, the 9 of Tevin Whitner, the 33 of Don Milkowicz, and the Kevin Winker machine, as well as Travis Trevelyan in the 71 truck.
And Kevin Winker in that 42, fantastic race at Daytona. He's sitting 2nd in point standings. Also, as we run qualifying right now, currently on the pole, but still plenty of time left there for that all to settle out.
Yeah, and I was watching practice too. Travis Trevelyan also had some really good speed out there in that 71 truck. So Stryker is looking to build on what they have made in week 1 at Daytona, see if they can climb up the list here in the team championship standings. But let's go ahead and move on here to our 4th place team, Tank Racing. They have put together quite a little team too, with a few returning drivers from last season, with a few familiar names that we're used to seeing as well. You see it there, the 25 of Jacob Zala, the 26 of Josh Mueller, the 63 of Bruce Amsden, the 64 of Walt Lepicki, and the 79 of Jeremy Duncan, Brandon.
Yeah, and another one of the top 5 drivers from Daytona last week. Solid performance from Josh Mueller in that 26. And I know that one of the names we keep hearing about coming into the season is Jacob Zala, that he carries a lot of speed, especially at these mile and a halves. We'll see if he can deliver that here tonight.
Excited to see what this team can do. It's a very young team with a lot of potential, so we will see what they can do here tonight at Kansas. But another team with a lot of potential is going to be our next team, sitting 5th in the standings this week. But you see it there. They are all about consistency. It's Jonathan Byer Racing, headed by their team captain, Jonathan Byer himself, in the 66 machine. He's got a few drivers on there that can win any given week as well. The 3 truck of Kyle Wimble, the 13 of Landon Cardullo, and the 35 of Jack Johnson, as well as the 66 that I already mentioned, Jonathan Byer, and the 75 machine of James Kerr.
Yeah, and Jonathan Byer last year, very, very good at the mile and a halfs. Nearly got his first win at Charlotte last year. See if he can get a little bit better luck there. Had the fuel mileage issue at the very end of the race, but somebody to definitely keep an eye on tonight.
Well, next up, a team we're not used to seeing so far down the standings, but that's what Daytona can do to any team on any given week. It's going to be Roel Smith Racing. Last season's individual champion came from this team. He's down there in the 51 machine, Cole Martin. Also some new names on board this year with the 2 truck of Edward Scherer, the 21 of Nathan Mon. Last year he was an Xfinity driver. The 23 of Michael York, expecting to see big things out of him this year. And the 32 of Troy Techmeyer, another Xfinity driver stepping down this year.
Yeah, a lot of experience from other divisions here in SRN that are coming to RSR's truck team. But then you look at that 51 truck, Cole Martin, the defending champion, and somebody that just absolutely stole the show with 3 wins on the mile and a half out of his 7 total. Always going to be a threat at any track, especially at these intermediates.
I couldn't agree with you more. All right, we only got 3 teams left to introduce here on the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show, one of which is a team that has been around for quite a while, R&D Motorsports. And, they have been here for, every season of SRN, and they have quite a team to put together this year. 18 of Bobby Anderson went pretty far in the playoffs last year. The 48 of Evan Scott, a great driver in himself. 54 of Jason Kratke, the 55 of Michael Aminti, and the 99 of Mike Mosby.
Yeah, and a surprise. There's a lot of talent here. A little bit of a surprise to not see any of them in the top 10 in Daytona, but I think that starts to change here. Bobby Anderson was good at mile and a halfs especially, and it led him to the championship 6 that we had because of the tiebreakers. He might have a good night lined up here tonight at Kansas.
Yeah, Bobby Anderson averaging a 13.8 at mile and a half tracks last year, so we expect to see him up there. All right, a new team, but kind of old as well. A team that has made a return here to Speed Racing Network, the Do-Gooders, and they are all about having fun out there on the track, and that is exactly what they do. They got quite a little team put together too as well. The 17 of Danny Setzer, the 24 of Taylor Smith, the 88 of Joseph DuPont, the 90 of Corey Knight, and the 93 of Brad Yonkman.
Yeah, and you know what? Danny Setzer sitting there with the top 10 at Daytona. So he's one of our league admins in other series, sitting there just showing well as a driver as well. I don't think that the first week was really representative of how well this team might do. They've got a lot of good talent here. So I expect them to start moving up here after that interesting week of Daytona.
With 1 minute left in the show, we have one team left to introduce, and that is going to be a new team to the block. It's 13 Folds Sim Racing, and like we said last week, they have 13 different meanings of the flag, and this week we're going to go ahead and mention the second meaning, and that is belief in eternal life. So love this team just for the meaning behind it, and we're going to go ahead and introduce them now, and that's the 14 of David Miller, the 22 of Grant Altizer, the 28 of Clint Hackett, the 86 of Brian Crocker, and the 87 of Andrew Harris.
Yeah, and there's a lot of military tie-ins here with this team. Love what they do with the meaning of everything there. As far as on the track, I think somebody that you might want to be keeping an eye on tonight is going to be that 87 of Andrew Harris. Definitely one of those boom or bust type results that he had last year, but when he is on, he is very, very fast.
Couldn't agree more with you there. He will definitely be a contender tonight. Well, that's going to do it for the Healthcare Billing Incorporated pre-race show. We have trucks gridding out there on the pit road here at Kansas Speedway. Let's go ahead and give you a rundown of our top 12 out there and the pole sitter. No surprise there, Cole Martin in the 51 machine. We have another Roel Smith Racing truck up there on the front row as well, with Nathan Mon there in the 21 truck. Jacob Zala going to be starting third, and Andrew Harris, that name we just mentioned, will be starting fourth, Brandon.
Yep, and on row 3, going to see one of the striker guys, Don Milkowitz, rounding out our top 5, starting in the 5th position. Michael Madden, who is absolutely incredible at mile and a halfs last season, going to be starting in the 6th spot. David Miller, also of 13 Folds Racing, going to be sitting in 7th. And on the outside of row number 4, Kevin Winker, 2nd place at Daytona, will be starting in 8th.
It's going to be Michael Aminci. 10th place going to be Troy Techmeyer, another RSR truck. Kyle Wimble from JBR starting 11th. And last week's winner, Sean Jensick out of Rev'd Racing, will be rounding out our top 12. All right, Brandon, I always like to give you the lead when it comes to picks. Who are you taking this week?
You know, I normally try to not take the obvious pick, and so this time I'm going to kind of go back a little bit and look at what we saw at similar tracks last season at Vegas and at Kansas, and somebody that was very sneaky good at both of those tracks is actually starting in the 17th position, and that's Michael York. And he was somebody that didn't really qualify incredibly quick at mile and a halfs, but at the end of the night and those races, he would wind up in a solid spot, including a couple top threes. I think he'll have a good night again tonight.
It's a great pick. He's always been strong, especially, as he's gotten more experience here in the Speed Racing Network. I'm going to take the obvious pick, in my book at least, and I think with the average finish of 2.8 last year at mile and a half tracks with 2 wins, my pick this week is Michael Madden in that 15 machine out of Rev'd Racing. He is great when it comes to saving his stuff. He's starting 6th tonight, so not too many trucks to pass when this is a pass or a hard to pass track, so he won't have too many trucks in his way. We'll see if he can keep that truck clean tonight, but yeah, he was our runner-up last season when it came to points and 3 SRN wins. That's nothing to shy away from, so I think we're going to have some great picks out there tonight, Brandon, but this pace car is about to peel off, and we will be going live for the Jayhawk 125 here in the Speed Racing Network Truck Series with Cole Martin leading the way with his teammate just on the outside. We are green. It's a good jump, and he's going to go right down on the apron to try and give himself a little bit of gap. Nathan Mon able to clear that 3rd place truck of Jacob Zala, and they are kind of getting separated real early on here.
Yeah, that was a fantastic jump there from Cole Martin in the 51. Really got a good 2 or 3 truck length advantage going into turn 1 out of Nathan Mon, who continues to hold that 2nd position. We're really seeing not a whole lot of movement throughout the field. Everybody kind of sorting it out pretty quickly. Do have a little bit of passing going on there for the 4th position between Andrew Harris and Michael Madden and Don Milkowitz. But aside from that, nothing too crazy for lap 1 at Kansas.
And Don Milkowitz falling like a rock after qualifying 5th. He's fallen back a couple of positions already, and these trucks are just flying on the outside. Looks like we got some trucks coming out of the pits a little bit late there. It looked like the 7 of Lucas Lyons and the 71 of Travis Trevelyan. So we got trucks all over the place right now. But like you mentioned, we got battles all over the place, and one of which is for the lead right now with that 21 machine of Nathan Mon bearing down on his teammate there in the 51 of Cole Martin.
Yeah, I mean, these 3 really starting to pull away already by about 0.8 of a second as they make their way out of turn 2. And on this 3rd lap already, seeing that gap as they just go single file and are moving away from the rest of the field. And I was really curious to see how drivers would handle this race after what we saw last week, where we saw a lot of cautions, especially a couple early ones at Daytona. I didn't know if you were going to see a lot of drivers be aggressive on these tires, thinking that they're going to see a lot more cautions like we saw last week and we saw at times last season in the Truck Series, or if there were going to be people kind of going a little bit conservative on the tires. And it looks, for the most part, we're seeing a little bit of conservative style. But we are starting to see a little bit more side-by-side racing as well, a little bit farther back in the pack.
A little tiny broadcaster's curse there as you just make them want to race there, Brandon. But that's what we're trying to do here tonight. We're trying to get somebody's trying to get a win here in week 2 of the SRN's Truck Series. And Michael Madden already moving up 2 positions up to 4th. He's going to try and see if he can catch that lead pack of Cole Martin, Nathan Mon, and Jacob Zala. He's got some ground to cover, but able to clear Don Malkowicz and Andrew Harris early on. And we got some side-by-side racing here. Like you see, Kyle Wimble is making a slide job on the 29 of Sean Jensik, last week's winner. He's going to make it happen and move up to that 10th position. Sean Jensik going to go ahead and get a little bit of a crossover going here as we move back further in the pack. More 2x2 racing here with Ed Schurer pushing that 71 truck of Travis Trevelyan.
And this is also a great look at what we'll see, especially on the trucks with the way that they handle. I think we'll see it somewhat similar with the Cup cars, that they are a little bit tighter. With our Xfinity cars tomorrow night, I don't know if we'll have that ability to really have speed on all these lines compared to the trucks right now. But that was a great look at how many options these drivers have in the turns, where you can run all the way up by the wall, similar to what Cole Martin's doing, where he's keeping it up on that top line. You can look at Nathan Mon, who's trying to make the pass for the lead on the inside. That's an option as well, but he's going to have to do that slide job, as he just did, to keep the run at bay from Cole Martin, because if you're all the way on the outside, you get a tremendous rush of momentum coming out of the turns.
It takes a bold man to pull a slide job on your teammate. That's what we just saw there with the 21, but knock, knock, we got some new contenders here as Michael Madden is making the move on the inside of Cole Martin and looking on the inside of Jacob Zala as well. Michael Madden feeling very fast here tonight. I spoke to him before the race, feeling very confident with his truck. And there you see, he's going to go ahead and pull off that pass on Cole Martin for 3rd. And he's going to have his sights set on these 2 lead trucks of Nathan Mon and Jacob Zala. Great race for the top 5 right now.
Yeah, and when you mentioned Michael Madden, the thing with him that always kind of baffled me as a competitor last season was there would be races where he would be moving out to the front incredibly quick and pushing those tires, and there would be races where he would kind of sit back and let the race come to him. And either way, he would still be one of the faster trucks out there at the end of a tire run. I had no clue how he was able to do that so well, but it's a huge strength for Michael Madden, as now going for the lead. Jacob Zala trying to move to the outside. Michael Madden taking the look on the inside, trying to think about what he wants to do out of this side-by-side battle.
Nowhere for him to go right now. It always makes me nervous when you see these trucks get so close because of our pesky friend Netcode, and we are 3 wide for the lead. Michael Madden on the inside, Jacob Zala the meat, and Nathan Mon on the outside, and Cole Martin might be thinking to get his nose in on this and making it 4 wide. He's going to have to think better of it because they are still 3 wide heading into turn 3. Michael Madden going to try and clear the Jacob Zala machine, slide up, and he's got the lead. Nathan Mon with a run off of 4 might be able to take it back here, but I like where Michael Madden is sitting right now, and he is going to be able to pull this lead off more than likely after this turn.
Yeah, he does get credited for the lap led on that last time by as they cross the line. Here comes that slide job up to the top, but Nathan Mann is going to do a great job of trying to come in, and we got trouble as Jacob Zala gets turned into the wall. They keep it going straight. Cole Martin with damage as well. No caution on the track as of right now.
Wow, trucks everywhere.
Oh, there it is.
Kyle Wimble coming down into the 06 of Blair Holloman.
This.
He's going to have to take a tow, unfortunately, for Sean Jensik there. Kyle Wimble unable to hold on to his truck there and just taking out a lot of trucks in the process. We are under our first caution of the night here at lap 12. Some real hard racing up towards the front. Going to be the culprit here for our first wreck replay presented by Beer Street Journal. Please drink responsibly.
And this was just good, hard racing that went awry going into turn number 3. And this is after the initial contact between Jacob Zala and Cole Martin. And this is a little bit of the follow-through. So that was where it really started, was between Zala and Martin on the backstretch. And then this is the follow-through where everybody was trying to make their way around through the damage. I think there were some people thinking the caution was probably going to come out, trying to avoid everything. And thankfully it's virtual, or else we would have lost a fence and a really nice camera as Sean Jensik went wall riding after that contact. Saw Kyle Wimble get involved. Andrew Harris just in front of it. And also see that 06 of Blair Holloman.
Yeah,
So
we
some
would've-
heavy damage there for the Daytona winner, and that's going to be using that fast repair and a tow. He's going to be hurting here in this race, falling at least a lap down early.
It'll be interesting to see if he loses too much time, since he was right at the entrance of pit road there. He gets his fast repair too, so he might be okay. But let's go ahead and take a look at our standings one more time while we're under yellow. And you see it right there. That truck on your screen was the one that just got sent into the fence. Sean Jensic going to be behind the 8-ball for the rest of this Jayhawk 125. And you see right there the rest of our top 5: Kevin Winker, Dave Fuchs Jr., Josh Mueller, and Robert Yost.
Yeah, and 4 of the 5 trucks that were noticeably involved in that accident, whether it be at the starting point on the backstretch with Zala and Martin, or the 3 that were in the follow-through of it, 4 of those 5 in the top 15, or in the top 16 if you count the ties, coming out of Daytona. So we're expecting to see a big point shakeup, and we're seeing it early here at Kansas.
Yeah, and like we mentioned, we have a few new rules to the season, one of which is going to be a caused caution penalty. We will be getting to see if there is any penalties handed out during this review process. We will let you know if there is. But right now, everybody going down pit road for the most part that time. A few trucks staying out, one of which is the 42 of Kevin Winker.
Yeah, it looks like he's the only one that stayed out here on this one, as the second place truck is going to be Nathan Mon. So we're looking at Kevin Winker going to be on some decently used tires. They're not going to be terribly out of shape, but it might be something to keep an eye on when we have this restart if there's any tire spin. Also looking at the trucks, it looks like there's a little bit of spoiler damage there to the 21, maybe a little bit of contact at some point that we didn't quite catch. Not sure if that's really going to have a whole lot of effect on that truck, but it could play a little bit of a role as we move on tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned Kevin Winker being the only one that stayed out. He has a couple friends out there who also decided to stay out. The 28 of Clint Hackett and the 86 machine of Brian Crocker staying out as well. We saw him do that a couple times last year to get track position. We'll see how it works out this season with 12 laps of hard racing on those tires already, going through a heat cycle as well. Not sure how that's going to fare with a lot of trucks behind them on fresh tires, Brandon.
And the scary thing about it is with the amount of lanes that are going to be on the track, if one truck has an issue, you might be seeing 3-4 wide looks going into turn 1. That's going to be a little sketchy. Hopefully they keep it going straight as we take another look here at our team standings with Rev and Zuyost both being just that 1 point apart. But Kevin Winker, part of Stryker Motorsports, he's currently leading the way here in this field, and Stryker sitting in that 3rd position.
4th place, Tank Racing. 5th place, Jonathan Beyer Racing. One of their trucks just involved in that first caution, a Kyle Wimble. 6th place, surprisingly, Roel Smith Racing. We just saw 2 of those trucks racing really hard with Nathan Mon and Cole Martin up front. Cole Martin getting a little bit of damage, falling back to 15th now. So there you have it. That's our team standing so far with 1 week already in the season. And Brandon, this is already becoming a very aggressive race, one of which we did not expect to see.
Very aggressive, and there's going to be a handful of drivers and a handful of notable drivers that are going to be without a fast repair at this point, as we did see the points leader and Daytona winner, Sean Jensic, having to very likely use one. I would imagine he had to have at that point. I don't believe Cole Martin has used one. Has seen him come down pit road a couple times, though, during this caution. He's actually going to cycle out to 35th position as we have this restart.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Sean Jensic really did lose a lap there, knowing he had to take a tow. Unsure right now because I can't see on the scoring pylon.
He's going to be 2 laps down for Jensic.
Okay, but that's definitely something he can make up if we see a few cautions here. Definitely capable here with all the hard racing we've seen here in the Truck Series. He's going to have to keep battling out there, but right now our leaders out there on old tires are going to have the green flag flying, and we are back green here at the Jayhawk 125.
Nice clean start for those slightly worn tires after the 13 laps of green flag racing. The question is going to be, how do they hold up in 1 and 2? They're going to keep it straight, but you can see the speed difference there just in the confidence that Nathan Mon can have compared to the 2 older tires trucks with older tires, and Nathan Mon going to find himself moving back out to the front here pretty quickly, and now he's going to be clear of that 28. Michael Madden going to be moving into the picture as well. So the old tires was a bit of a gamble. Nothing too noticeably hurt there by doing it, but they are going to start falling back here pretty quick.
Yeah, Nathan Mon was just trying so hard to get as much gap as he could on Michael Madden, knowing how hard Michael Madden was racing it for the lead before we went to that first caution. And right now, we're going to have another battle for the lead. Oh, we got another caution before we can get to that. They are wrecking here on the backstretch.
Not sure who that was, but we do have that caution. Looks like Taylor Smith has been slowed. Not sure if he was involved in it. We're kind of scanning around as it was away from our cameras as we were watching. And this might have been a pretty harmless one, as it doesn't look like there's anybody with any significant damage coming out of this.
Definitely saw some cars spinning out there. Not sure if Kyle Wimble is involved right there, as we saw him involved in the first caution. This is our second caution of the night, though he may have used his fast repair and gotten a little more damage. Not sure, though, if that was from this previous incident. Could have been, like you said, a very harmless thing where somebody got spun out on the backstretch and just didn't touch anything. We will try and figure it out to see if we can get another Beer Street Journal wreck replay for you. But right now, like I said, we are on lap 19, and this is our second caution of the night.
Yeah, and we might not know exactly what happened to Kevin Winker making his way onto pit road now after that gamble on the first one, probably realizing that those tires were going to fall off pretty quick speed-wise compared to the rest of the field. But this caution also going to be good news for a couple of trucks like that 3 of Kyle Wimble, who you saw the damage to the nose of his Toyota Tundra, and he's going to get a little bit of extra chance to make some of those repairs without using that fast repair. I believe that you'll also see Cole Martin take similar advantage of this, as he was trying to fix that damage without using that fast repair as well. So this is a welcome sight of a caution for a couple of those drivers involved in our first one.
Yeah, so we are currently lap 20 here at the Jayhawk 125. Trucks are pacing around for the most part. Everybody's staying out this time. A few takers going down pit road, like you mentioned, Kevin Winker deciding better to come down and get those fresh tires. Brian Crocker restarted in the top 3 last time, fell all the way to 8th within that first lap. So that just goes to show you how aggressive these drivers with fresh tires are able to race those trucks and get by some of these guys. Clint Hackett doing a great job of holding on to that track position. He's still sitting there in 3rd place.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a gamble. I'm surprised he's still staying out. He might have had a very concrete plan in his mind, but you're looking at 30 to 33 laps on fuel. This isn't really something you can stretch into a one-stop strategy. So I am surprised that he's staying out here at this point on those worn tires. And Michael York's sitting at the entrance of pit road. Not sure what's going on there. We might have to check back in. Actually, it looks like he was given an EOL penalty. So I'm going to imagine that the caution that came out was revolving around that 23 RSR truck. And we're going to take a look back at what happened here. This is before the caution came out, so looks like he gets on to the inside, and it's Landon Cardulo that gets turned. And that was pretty harmless, but he did get that truck turned around, trying to run on that inside line, and so he is going to get an EOL penalty to the back as per the new caused caution rule.
Yeah, so he is going to be having a tough time getting by all these trucks. Like I mentioned, 40-truck field tonight. That is tough to do here at Kansas, so he might have to pull out some sort of strategy to get that truck back into a better track position and some clean air. But right now, our 2 leaders, you see them right there, Nathan Mon and Michael Madden, really battling hard. Nathan Mon only running 1.5 mile race last year in the truck series. He finished 4th, so he definitely has good speed when it comes to the 1.5 mile races. Michael Madden averaging a 2.8 finish with 1.5 mile tracks last season. That's 8 races during our 20-week season, with 2 of them being wins, leading 70 laps. He is feeling very fast here tonight, and he wants to get that truck out ahead of the 21 machine.
Yeah, I mean, there is a reason we were saying that he is a bit of the obvious pick when it comes into this race tonight. And you look at that, it's a 20-week season. Last season, 8 of these races were at the mile-and-a-half intermediates, and he had that 2.8 average finish that you mentioned. Just says how dominant he was last season. One of the 3 drivers I thought, even though I was in the league, I'm not even going to put myself in that group, but there were 3 drivers that were just miles ahead of everybody else, I thought. Madden and Martin were 2 of them. I thought Corey Saucier was in that list as well, and they all just were absolutely fantastic when it came to these mile-and-a-halves.
Yeah, Cole Martin, another one of those obvious picks, not even in the top 20 right now, so he's going to have a lot of ground to make up as well. But we are driving through turns 3 and 4 right now with the pace car lights off. We are about to go back to green with the field under control of the 21 machine of Nathan Mon. Let's see if we can get some green flag racing here like we saw to start. Some really great racing for those first 12 laps. And Nathan Mon's going to get a really good jump here, drop down all the way to the apron to try and bide him some more space on the track. And Michael Madden's going to be able to get that inside line. No trucks to his inside or outside. So the top 2, top 3, all with clean air right now.
And I'm not sure if that 28 is going to have clean air here for much longer on those older tires. As you see the 55 of Michael Amenti starting to look to the inside. We're going to have side-by-side racing there as well for 6th and 7th with Scherer and Zala. But the 55, Michael Amenti making the move to 3rd position as Hackett continuing to try to hang on to those older tires.
See it right here. We have a battle for the lead. Michael Madden making a move to the inside of Nathan Mon. He's going to have some good momentum heading into 1 and 2. See if he can clear the 21 on the exit of 2. I don't think he's going to have him clear right now. He's going to be a drag racing to turn 3, try to slide job him a little bit. And I think he's going to have the spot by the time they get to the exit of 4.
Nice run into that turn for Michael Madden. A little bit surprised that Nathan Mon was trying to cut back down to the inside. Thought he was going to try to ride that momentum on the high side, but decided to try to move in behind the 15 and possibly cut the run for Michael Amenti behind him. But Michael Madden going to be taking the lead as they make their way down the backstretch at lap number 25. At 55, looking the inside of the 21 of Nathan Mon. That'll be for the 2nd position.
55 machine of Amenti showing some really good speed as they get really close. The Mon machine of the 21 truck and the 55 of Amenti kind of making contact almost, it looked like. And they're going to battle down the front stretch here heading into turn 1 side by side. Michael Madden hoping this lasts for a while. Maybe he can pull away a little bit, but 55 might pull off a slide job here to slide up in front of the 21. Not going to be clear as they're going to have to drag race down the backstretch. And we got battles all over the racetrack with Ed Scherer battling out Clint Hackett right now, as well as David Miller, all racing for position behind them.
And that was a nervy moment as you see that 28 of Clint Hackett. He was in the middle 3 wide on the older tires. Those tires have been on since lap number 1. So that's a bit of a tough ask there to be riding in the middle. They did a great job there making that work, but Hackett's starting to slide down that scoring pylon. But Ed Scherer in that number 2 Napa truck starting to make his move through the field, sitting in the 4th position. But Michael Madden starting to creep away from this side-by-side battle for 2nd.
So sitting 6th in the team standings right now, but 2 of their trucks in the top 4. So they got to be liking what they are seeing out there right now. But one person in general is really liking what he's seeing, and it's that 15 truck of Michael Madden as these guys are battling so hard behind him. He is edging away lap after lap, little by little, but getting it done as 2 former Xfinity Series drivers of Michael Amenti and Nathan Mon are battling for 2nd. And here comes Ed Scherer and Dave Fuge Jr., David Miller and Jonathan Byer to ruin the party.
Man, this is some great racing tonight here at Kansas. When we are under green, we're seeing just side-by-side battles all over the track. And here's a great look at what this high line looks like, as Ed Scherer has really been the one that's running the closest to the wall, especially this early in a run. And it's a little bit easy to feel like you might get loose on that high line, especially when those tires are cold. This is about that point where it really starts to get a little bit more comfortable. But Nathan Mon and Ed Scherer starting to really make use of that Larson line up by the wall. See if they can reel in Madden, who is still holding about a 0.2 of a second lead.
Yeah, kind of wondering if the 15 is just kind of mirror racing to call it, and just kind of keeping the field close to him and saving what he's got, because these guys behind him are racing really hard. Nathan Mon going to go to the inside of Michael Aminti, try to slide job here. I'm not sure if he's going to have the room. He does have the room. We'll see if he slides up in front of the 55. Jonathan Byer to the inside of the 55. And Ed Scherer pushing the 55 down the front stretch. These guys in the top 5 are putting on a heck of a show.
Man, this is some aggressive stuff here as we're just past around that third of the way mark in this race, and it's almost like the gates just busted open and everybody's going for it at this point, as we've seen some very close moves, seen some slide jobs early in a race. Bit aggressive there, but everybody making it work to this point. Nobody better, though, than that 15 of Madden.
To round out our top 10, David Miller sitting in 6th, Andrew Harris, name we mentioned, sitting in 7th, Lucas Lyons, a rookie this season, in 8th, Jacob Zala started in the top or the second row, he's all the way back to 10th, Josh Mueller just passing him for 9th. So that's your top 10. They are all within striking distance, with 10th being 2 seconds back, and it's very easy to make up time here. As you've seen, these guys are just coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the draft here. If you're within about a second, you can pull in pretty close if you have any decent run going on the truck in front of you. And I think that's even more so in the trucks than it will be in the Xfinity or the Cup cars this week at Kansas. But the big thing here is Michael Madden, he did not have much of a problem getting out to the front. He only had to make that really one pass. He was passing a couple trucks on older tires in the process. So I don't think that put too much strain on his tires. And I think that's going to pay off in the long run. I don't think he's really pulling away yet, but I think once we put another 15, 20 laps on these tires, should we get there, I think that's where you're really going to see the effect kind of continue to build up here with how conservative he gets to be on these tires, as opposed to everybody going side by side.
You see it right here. The 18 of Bobby Anderson bearing down on Jacob Zala. Jacob just kind of falling through the field. We are under yellow for our third caution of the night. Not sure exactly what happened. We will find out exactly where it happened. Looks like it might have been Clint Hackett spinning onto pit road potentially. Not seeing any other trucks around on the track. We're going to try and find exactly what happened here.
Not entirely sure what we got, but we do know that Clint Hackett is on pit road, looks like by himself. And that, hate to say it, that's not a surprise this late into a tire run where he's been stretching it pretty far. We're sitting here at lap number 35, so he's gone since the start of the race on this original set of tires. So if it was him, which it does appear to be, I hate to say it, not too surprising at this point. This is about where you're going to start running into the end of the fuel run, and you're also going to be really worn out on these tires.
Yeah, we're having a little bit of trouble finding out if that is exactly what happened here, but it has to be. We don't see any other trucks. And, he just kind of came down pit road under, when the pits were closed. So that just gives me the indication that it was him. He's going to have to take a penalty and go to the end of the longest line. But all of our leaders are going to come down pit road this time, with only Kevin Winker staying out again. So he is on a little bit of a different pit strategy here.
And you know what? I'm all right with that in this one. He did come out on that different strategy. He's only been on those. It's similar to what we saw that last run, so he's going to know what to expect. Everybody else came in on lap 13 or 14, so they're about 22 laps into this tire run. For Winker, he's more about 12 laps in. It's still a bit of a reach. I think I probably would have wanted to come in and reset onto that sequence, but maybe he knows something we don't and has this gut feeling that this thing's going to play out a little funky, and the off-sequence strategy might pay out.
Well, we apologize. We're still working on the system. For whatever reason, it's not letting us really find anything when it happens in the back of the pack. So we're going to just have to go ahead and assume that it was Clint Hackett spinning out of 4. Oh, we're hearing it was Jeremy Duncan spinning this time through the chat in the race chat. You see a little bit of damage there on the outside of that 42 machine. He has definitely gotten a little bit of stripe on the wall. He's got a little bit of damage to that 42 machine, but yeah, you see it right here. Jeremy Duncan, we're hearing, was the one that went around that time, so he is going to be starting at the back of the pack. But one person that I know is not happy with Kevin Winker staying out is going to be that 29 of Sean Jensick. He was hoping to get a wave around this time by and unable to do so since he was the only lead lap truck staying out. Clint Hackett going to be able to get his lap back.
Yeah, now I'm curious. And you know what? It's very possible that the 28 came down pit road early, and it was possibly because he was running out of fuel at the end of the run. So he might have had to make that judgment call of, oh, I'm going to either run out or I'm just going to take the penalty and get fuel. That's possibly what happened. Of course, I'm just speculating here on that one. But yeah, Kevin Winker staying out and kind of trapping Sean Jensick and I believe a couple others one lap down. That is just going to be a gut punch for a lot of those drivers trying to get a lap back, expecting that wave around, and then you have one truck staying out there and blocking that from happening. That is something that will leave you a little irritated when you get on this restart.
Just a little bit, but you know, it's just something that they're going to have to manage. Still a lot of time left in this race, and they're going to have to pit again. I heard before the race, I spoke with a few of my Rev Racing teammates that are in this race. They said it's a 30-lap fuel run out there, so they are going to have to pit one more time to make it to the green, or to that checkered flag, excuse me. So still a lot of potential strategy moves can be made. Maybe we'll get that lap back. We'll see exactly what happens here, but we have the pace car lights out as we go 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field.
And this is going to be interesting with Kevin Winker taking the outside. It's a little bit easier, like I was saying, to get loose on that high line if you get really aggressive with it. And also you see that damage to the right side of the truck. At some point, he's already put a stripe, I'm imagining, on that wall, as you see a few of them already up there coming out of turn 2 especially. It's going to be interesting to see how aggressive he is on slightly worn tires as we get this race restarted, and he's going to be on the outside.
Be really aggressive. I'm showing 19 laps on his tires, and a very strong 15 truck to his inside with fresh tires, as well as the 21 machine of Nathan Mon and Ed Scher really showing some really good speed during that last run too. So I have to imagine Kevin Winker is going to be hard pressed to hold on to that track position, but we will see how it works out for him as we go back under green here at the Jayhawk 125 for Speed Racing Network's Truck Series Week 2 action. And you see it right there. He is really unable to escape Michael Madden. Michael Madden getting a great restart, and he's going to have the lead heading into turn 1. Ed Shearer really bearing down on that 15 machine as 4 trucks are going to go by Kevin Winker within one turn.
Yeah, and that had all the looks of just not being confident on those tires, or possibly hitting the gas and just not having the traction there like he expected to have it. But now we're going to see a new leader. First time tonight, the 2 truck, Ed Scher, are going to move to the front.
Yeah, I have to imagine Michael Madden's going to try and just let him go for now, take care of his stuff. But then again, he's peeking to the inside now, trying to get that lead back. Ed Scher goes real high into turns 1 and 2. Nathan Mon going to be looking to his inside now. They might be battling between teammates. Michael Madden going to have to be really careful, make sure he's clear here as they're going into turn 3. 3 trucks battling for the lead here.
And this is going to be a good look at the inside and outside differences. You can see the inside faster inside the turns, but the 2 truck running that high line gets just this big momentum rush, carrying more speed coming out of the turn. Madden does a great job with that cutting of the apron, kind of negating that difference, and stays out in front. We'll see how it plays out here coming out of turn number 2. And there comes that 2 truck once again with that run on the high side. Nathan Mon with a great run and a great push from Jonathan Byer. He's going to move to the inside. We're 3 wide for the lead.
Jonathan Byer thinking about taking it 4 wide as there's a lot of room here on the front stretch. He's going to stick with the 21, pushing him down the front stretch. 15 going to try and side draft the 2. We are still 3 wide out front. That's only going to suck all these trucks up behind them and just really make this a tight race for the lead. 10 trucks within a second of each other here.
It was about this distance from 1st to 7th What we saw was the distance first to second at this point in the restart last time after that last caution. You can just throw a blanket on really the top 8 trucks at this point, all within a half second. And this has been fantastic racing tonight at Kansas. Ed Scher continuing to hold the lead on that outside line, just getting these great runs. Nobody else really wanting to run that high line with them.
Top 2 trucks are RSR, so I know Jake Rowell is loving what he's seeing out there right now. But Michael Madden, with the best average finish among mile-and-a-half tracks last season, is definitely not going away. He is just putting a bumper right to the 21 truck, going to push him down the front stretch. Ed Scher might be able to clear Nathan Mon and heading into turn 1, but I know that 2 truck loves that high line. He's going to whip it right up there and get a good run going down the backstretch here, Brandon.
I'm really surprised that nobody else is moving up there. I think I saw Jacob Zala starting to creep his way up towards the wall, running that high line in 1 and 2 last time by. But you see the success that 2 truck is having on the high line. Now we're starting to see more trucks start to figure it out. If it's working well for one of the race leaders, you might as well try it yourself if you haven't already. That high line can get a nice run, especially on exit.
Wow, some really close racing right there between Beyer and Michael Madden. We are 3 wide. Still the top 10 within 8/10 of the lead. This is a very tight race right now. These boys are doing a great job of putting on a show for all of our fans out there in attendance. So please, if you love what you're seeing right now, go ahead and subscribe to Speed Racing Network. And you see a wreck. Jacob Zala going around. The 55 of Michael Amenti catching his bumper and just sending him into the wall.
Oh.
Not sure who that was.
Matt Johnson in the 1. Oh, man, we almost got through this with just 1 truck really getting involved and just nowhere for Matt Johnson to go. He was it looked like trying to go to the inside down on that apron and just absolutely clobbers the 25 of Jacob Zala, who for the second time tonight coming back up the racetrack gets turned into the wall as we get another Beer Street Journal wreck replay.
Checking out our 4th caution of the night, you're going to see these 2 battling really hard, the 55 and the 25 of Jacob Zala. A little bit of net code there catching them. I could see it from here. You could see that from a mile away, sending him down and just doing a good job of keeping the truck straight. Really nothing on his fault. Matt Johnson unable to get by him, though, and we saw the smoke coming out from behind that truck. He has blown an engine. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it to pit road to get that fast repair, but yeah, you could see that net code from a mile away, and that's iRacing's indication of saying, hey, these trucks are going to make contact, and it takes them around.
That's a tough pill to swallow there if you're in the 25 and you already had one of these wrecks tonight that played out very similar going down the backstretch, and I'm not even sure that they were going to make contact. It was going to be close. But yeah, the servers every now and then just kind of has that predictive state and thinking that contact was coming, and yeah, that's just a tough break. Tough break for the 1 as well. He kind of committed there to that inside, trying to think he was going to get away from that. Possibly could have just slowed up a little bit more with that caution already coming out. That might have been a little bit safer for him, but yeah, that's tough. You can tell he did not see that coming either. Once he got behind the 1 truck that was just in front of him, vision completely blocked. And the second that truck moved away from that windshield, that 25 Azala was just sitting right in front of him.
Yeah, I think that's going to end Zala's night, giving him some heavy damage on that 25 truck. Not sure if Matt Johnson was able to make it around to get his fast repair and get that engine and truck fixed, but right now you see it there, a new leader here, the 2 of Ed Scher leading the field around. I'm not sure if anybody noticed there during that last replay when we went on board of Matt Johnson, but did you notice how far back Kevin Winker fell on those old tires?
Yeah, that was a significant drop, and he's actually going to be sitting in the 27th, and he just pitted, it looks like. So falling back even farther now is Kevin Winker. He's going to be around 30th as we cycle through after these pit stops, and it does look like Matt Johnson done for the night as well. So he's going to be sitting there in 42nd place. Jamie Plord out really since lap number 1. He's got 41 laps down. So it looks like Matt Johnson going to be taking a 42nd place finish tonight.
Yeah, I'm seeing the 25 still rolling. Jacob Zala is still coming down pit road to try and get those damages fixed on that truck, but still going to be hard to really put some power down on the track, as he had a really tough truck out there tonight running up towards the front, but unfortunately getting into too much trouble tonight. But yeah, I see it down there right now. Matthew Johnson has disconnected. He is out of the race. So, whew, that was some intense racing, Brandon. What are you thinking of it so far, bud?
Oh my goodness, this has actually been more side-by-side racing than we saw at Daytona on Thursday or Sunday, and this is at Kansas. Mile and a half, you normally see it straighten out a little bit more, but this has been absolutely exhilarating racing, and every time we've had a green flag lap, you're seeing at least 3 to 5 quality side-by-side battles within the top 10. Absolutely fantastic tonight.
Yeah, great racing. Really surprised to see at least our top 20 all stay out on what is about 12 lap old tires, but I guess that's attributed to them running tire sets this year within Speed Racing Network, so a lot of these guys might be forced to stay out on these old tires, so everyone's going to be on even keel except for a few guys in the back. Like we mentioned, Kevin Winker coming down pit road, he fell back a lot after restarting on the pole, but right now our top 20 all on the same set of tires, and our two lead cars are RSR cars, so they're trying to build up on that team standings right now where they sit in 6th place, doing a great job of it. And Cole Martin starting to move his way back up through the field after falling way back after being involved in that first caution. He's back up to 12th.
Yeah, not a real surprise there, seeing Cole Martin work his way from 35th all the way back up to that 12th position. But we're ready to go for the 5th time at Kansas.
Yeah, Ed Scherer getting a good jump on his teammate Nathan Mon there. Not sure if they were working together or not, as Michael Madden is to the inside of that 21 machine, and he's going to be looking to take that 2nd place spot. You see it down there. He's got a fan in attendance, Julie Madden, his mother, cheering him on. He's always got a lot of people watching, so got a lot of support out there right now, running a really good race as he's taking a look to the inside of the 2 machine of Ed Scherer. These 3 cars have been battling really hard for the last 20 laps or so for this lead. Jonathan Byer not want to let them get away.
These 4 really have been the class of the field tonight, but we're starting to see behind them a couple of names we haven't mentioned tonight with Lucas Lyons and Mike Mosby as well in the 99. They're sitting in 5th and 6th. You see Lyons, he's in that pack with the top 4. This is really the first time we've seen him move up to this type of position and be a factor here for the lead, and he's looking pretty comfortable here in that 5th position.
Yeah, 2 rookies running in the top 5, Ed Scherer in the 2, and Lucas Lyons there in the 7. Lucas showed really strong strength last week at Daytona before getting caught up in some trouble. Right now, he's looking to the inside of Jonathan Byer for 4th place, as we got a big battle right here for the lead. These top 5 cars, you can lay a blanket over them, and any one of them could be the leader at any moment right now. But right now, Michael Madden at the head of the field.
I gotta tell you, in the year plus that I've been here with SRN, whether in the booth, whether racing, this might be one of the best races I've seen to this point. We have seen action all over the track, especially out in front, and it's Michael Madden leading the way, but it's 2 by 2 behind him for 2nd through 5th.
I think we've seen more action here in Kansas than we saw at Daytona last week, and that's just a testament to how strong this field really is. See some shuffling back there, a little bit of smoke. Not sure if that was someone blanking out, but right now, no caution or anything. We have a great race underway with lap 54 going in the books right now. Just over 30 laps to go. These guys are going to have to pit one more time as they cannot make it to the end on fuel. At the moment, you see it there. A little bit of haze coming through 1 and 2, so some smoke coming from somebody.
It looked like we had a truck get sideways in 1 and 2, saved it, and kept it going straight. And I think that's just a little residual smoke that's continuing to blow off there. Obviously, no caution on the track, but the 15 and the 21 starting to check out just a touch, a couple truck lengths ahead of Ed Scherer in the 2, but as Scherer got clear of that side-by-side position, he pulls right back in, and there he goes again on that high line, run the wall.
Yeah, he has not shied away from running that high side. Looks like everybody else wanting to run the inside. And one of the guys running in the top 5 has another fan out in attendance. Carrie Byer says she's a proud sister. Go, John. Cheering him on. John losing a position right now, falling back to 5th as Lucas Lyons gets by him. And he's going to have a lot of hungry drivers behind him with Mike Mosby and Bobby Anderson, as well as Andrew Harris bearing down on him.
Top 6 all within 0.8 of a second, and it's nose to tail between Madden and Mon, first and second. But there's that huge run again on the high line for sure in the 2. There's a little bit of contact going into turn 3, it looked like. Everybody going to keep it straight, though, as the 2 continues to run up on that wall. See what kind of a run he gets on Madden, who's trying to kind of block both lines at the same time. But it's going to be Madden leading the lap. Sure is going to clear Mon for second, and he's going to continue to try to make great use of that high line.
Yeah, Madden really trying to put the air on that 2 truck to hold him up a little bit, but really struggling to do so. Sure is going to have nowhere to go but give him a push down the backstretch again like we saw last time. A little bit more flush of a push this time, not really getting him a little squirrely, but Madden going to move up to the high side right now, put some dirty air on that 2 truck, really try to slow him up and get the momentum all to himself. Sure is going to go nowhere and have nothing of it, and he is going to be looking to the outside again, heading into turns 1 and 2. This is the battle for the lead now as we see the 21 starting to fall back a little bit.
I really like the defensive style that Madden's had, as Sure is going to get that run on the high line, and he's going to put the nose out in front by a decent bit. Madden's going to be a little bit quicker through the middle of the turn. You see him push up there as he might have tried to get a little bit too deep, and that's going to give a huge run for Ed Sure. He's going to get clear, and he's going to lead the lap once again, second time he's led tonight. But I really like the defensive strategy that Madden had there for a little bit. It obviously didn't pan out in terms of this battle, as there's still 26 laps to go. But I like the idea of, you know what, I want to see if I run the high line, if I can make Sure get a little uncomfortable and maybe change his line. I think he knows where the 2 wants to run and where the only line that 2 truck might be comfortable now.
Yeah, but Mike Madden has shown really good speed down bottom, so I wouldn't get away too far from his strategy of where he's running so far and really try to take care of that truck. Right now, he's really pushing it, and you can see as the 2 truck is starting to put a few car lengths on him, and Nathan Mon going to be bearing down on the 15 here, taking a look to the inside, trying to take that second position and give RSR 1 and 2 on the track. But right now, our top 5, Ed Sure, Nathan Mon, Michael Madden, Lucas Lyons, and Jonathan Byer. Well, Mike Mosby taking over the 5th position now. Jonathan Byer losing a lot of time right now. Not sure what happened to him, but he has fallen off the pace.
Believe he got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 4, and that's what he just started sliding back and just kept getting passed in the middle. He was forced in the middle as I was watching on the wide shot there away from this as they were going down there. And contact between the 15 and 21. Great save by Nathan Mon, but that is going to hurt the time a good bit. You can see that 1 second gap now from first to second.
Boy, this is some real hard racing we're seeing here, and the person loving it the most is that 2 truck of Ed Sure. He has pulled out to a 1.2 second lead over this second, third, and fourth place truck, but man, this is a battle for second right now as Madden, Mon, and Lyons are all going for it.
Fantastic racing, a little bit of contact, great save by Nathan Mon in the 21 Sundrop truck. And another thing to keep an eye on, we had pit stops for this group at lap number 36. We are now at lap number 62, going on lap number 63. So expect pit stops to be coming for the final time tonight here pretty shortly. I would imagine within the next 5 laps.
Yeah, it's all a matter of who comes down first. You know, these guys have 28 laps. Not all green flag laps, but 28 laps on this set of tires, which they are pretty old. And like you mentioned, 30 laps to a fuel tank, so they can't have much more left in the reserve. It's going to be a matter of who wants to come down first and take that risk of falling a lap down under yellow, as we've seen some really aggressive racing tonight, so can't fault them for being too careful. You see it right there, though. Cole Martin up to 6th place. Where did he come from? He's making a pass right now to the inside of Mike Mosby, trying to get 5th place. Sean Hamilton loving the save he saw from Nathan Mon.
I don't know anybody that wouldn't love that save. That was absolutely incredible. And what a save race-wise here for that 51 of Cole Martin, moving up to the 6th position. He was 35th after the last caution. Jonathan Byer saw him slide back to around that 10th, 11th position. He's moved his way back up to 8th after he got a little bit loose there coming out of turn 4, fell back just a few positions, but no falling back for Ed Scherer, continuing to lead the way now by about 1.25 seconds. And I'm starting to think, if I'm one of those trucks around that 7th to 12th position, maybe you think about doing the undercut just a little bit and trying to save a little bit of time there by being about 1 second faster on those laps ahead of the leader who's staying out on old tires, and throw it out the window. We got a caution on the track.
That changes everything. And yeah, might have been Andrew Harris. Yeah, we're not sure right now. We see some trucks blanking out.
One I know I saw hit the wall, but I don't know if it was as part of the caution. I saw the 13 of Landon Cardulo was against the wall for a little bit. Not sure if that was part of the caution, though. But still, this is going to be a huge thing for the race and how this plays out, because we were going to be looking for some green flag pit stops. That's not going to be a factor the rest of the way as we go back to the Beer Street Journal Rec Replay.
And that's what I just mentioned. You don't want to be that person to come down first and risk having a caution come out while you're a lap down. But you see it right there, 13 truck in the wall, really killing his momentum. And I'm assuming someone's going to really have nowhere to go here and just kind of take him out. We'll try to find someone else on the track, see exactly who it was. Let's check in with Walton Lipicki here, potentially him. In the 64 Healthcare Billing Incorporated truck. Not sure where it happened. We are having trouble tonight trying to find exactly. Yeah, there was someone blinked out there on the front stretch at the start-finish line, so that's what's making it really hard for us to figure out exactly who it was. But I see Andrew Harris kind of off the pace. Not sure if it was him.
Looks like Andrew Harris also got an EOL penalty as well, so it looks like that's going to be where this was, and we're not seeing it because it looks like he blinked out at that same time, so we won't have video of that one. Apologies for that, just a little tech issue when it comes to iRacing with the blink outs there. So what doesn't show, we can't see. So we're going to be looking at these pit stops here, and if anybody has a missed entry or speeding or anything like that, iRacing does a good job keeping the pit stop times themselves very level, and it's going to be Ed Scherer leading the race out of pit road. Michael Madden will be second, Nathan Mon third, Lucas Lyons fourth, Cole Martin and Mike Mosby side by side coming out of pit road. Looks like Mosby's going to get that 5th position to round out the top 5.
The money stop is what they like to call it here. The last stop of the night. We're presuming if this thing stays green the whole way. Could see another one if it comes down to maybe 3 or 4 laps to go. Get some fresh tires, maybe trick the bleeder. But we will see exactly what happens. You see our Xfinity Daytona winner Ryan Phillips cheering on Bobby Anderson and the Gravedigger machine. I just love this truck, Brandon.
He said Gravedigger. You got to give it the good old impersonation now, Monster Jam style.
Gravedigger!
There you go. As Bobby Anderson sitting in the 9th position as apologies for putting you on the spot there.
Hey, I'm here for it.
He'll be in 9th. Landon Cardulo, who we saw hit the wall, actually going to be holding on to the 10th position. And it looked like that was a pretty extracurricular thing compared to what the caution was. But he did get into the wall there coming out of turn 4, but still riding in the top 10. But it's Edward Scherer continuing to lead the way. A strong showing for him. He had a solid run as well at Daytona before we had those grenades start landing everywhere on the track late in that race. So a good showing here in his first couple races with SRN.
Yeah, full of bad jokes and bad impersonations, but not afraid of the spotlight, Brandon. So don't test me, man. I will do it. But yeah, I know Ed Scherer was not wanting to see that caution and hoping it came down to the green all the way to the end there, but because he had a nice 1.2 second lead over some really strong trucks out there. But unfortunately for him, we are going to be all stacked up again with some really strong contenders here. All of them in the top 10 have a possibility of winning.
And there's a theme I'm starting to notice as I'm looking at the lineup here, and it's how far some of these drivers have come through the field. Ed Shearer started 22nd. He's in the lead. Lucas Lyons started 25th. He's up to 4th. Mike Mosby started 23rd. He's up to 5th. And just outside of the top 10, but want to give a nod, Joseph DuPont running 11th. He has started in the 41st position. We've seen some monster runs for some of these guys that started in the back half of the field.
Yeah, tons of big movers out there. A few more. Sean Kozer starting at 30th, up to 13th. And Travis Trevelyan started shotgun on the field in 42nd. I don't even think he gridded in time. He's up to 17th. So
I believe he had a server issue where he got disconnected, came in. I think that's why we saw him joining in out of pit road on that first lap. I don't think he ever gridded, and that's impressive that I believe he was a lap down early on, got that lap back, and he's made up 25 positions since the start.
And Sean Jensick, last week's Daytona winner, was in the stands for our first caution. He's back up to 14th, so a lot of great racing all over the track. Some really big movers, also leading to some really big fallers as well. Sean Hamilton cheering on Go RSR, bring home the win. They have great potential to do so tonight with Ed Shearer and Nathan Mon and Cole Martin all within the first 3 rows here as the pace car peels off, and we are back under green. Shearer going to get a good jump, maybe counting his teammate down of Nathan Mon to kind of help clear him of the 15 Michael Madden machine, but unable to do so. Michael Madden's going to be to the outside of the 21. We'll see if he can get a good run out of 2.
He's got that little bit of a higher line, but it looks like the 21's going to get a great run on the inside and keep that position for second. 15 going to take a look on the inside. 21's going to block. Nathan Mon going to start looking to the inside as he's going to get that nose just around the left rear tire, but he's going to catch the apron, get a little bit loose. Nice save there once again for Nathan Mon in the 21, but you see instantly third of a second gap opens up from first to second.
It's going to really give a 3-car, 4-car length lead to the 2 machine of Ed Shearer. Nathan Mon going to have his hands full trying to clear Michael Madden here. Cole Martin really getting into the mix too as he's taking a look to the inside of the 7 machine, the rookie of Lucas Lyons, and Mike Mosby in the 99 thinking about coming along with him as well. We got battles, like I said, all over this track. 14 laps to go, coming to 13. Not much time left in this race, Brandon.
No, and this is the distance with 15 to go, and we got the restart that I was really thinking Michael Madden, the way that he runs those tires, I thought there might be a little bit more speed there on this starting run, but having to stay side by side for a little bit here has really slowed that momentum, and this race is really playing into the hands of Shearer in that 2 truck.
Well, I think it's just a long enough run where we will see a little bit of tire fall off, so Michael Madden might be just taking care of what he's got a little bit, but he is still battling Nathan Mon really hard as they are nose to tail heading into turn 1. Annabelle Ellis cheering on the 13 of Landon Cardolo, and Landon having a really good run tonight. Another one of our rookies here in SRN battling Bobby Anderson, one of our playoff racers from last season. He's up to 8th place.
And tight racing there for second. Madden moving up a little bit. And wow, how they did not get into trouble there. Saw that contact there with the left rear of Nathan Mon's 21 truck. Great job by both of them keeping that thing straight. Think the 15 of Michael Madden, think he kind of backed out just a little bit, making sure that he didn't end the race for both of those two. So you see that little bit of a momentum slow, and that plays into Cole Martin's hands, who suddenly from 35th is back up into the 3rd position.
Back
right.
to 15 to 51. Man, Michael Madden getting really tight. You see the damage to the right side of the truck there. They made big-time contact, and that's only going to bring on the rest of the field behind them. Lucas Lyons, he's licking his chops right now. Might be able to pull out a top 3 finish if these two end up wrecking each other. These are our top 2 trucks from last season, and, you know, the winningest drivers on mile-and-a-half tracks last year. Cole Martin with 3, Michael Madden with 2, and the numbers are all that's reversed. Regardless, you know, you would think they were the same driver, both great in their own rights. Cole Martin looking to get this W tonight as he's got his 2 teammates ahead of him, both rookies to the Truck Series.
And Nathan Mon with the inside run out of turn number 4 is going to stick that 21 Sundrop car, the truck, out into the lead. Big run onto the inside with the crossover for sure. We're going to see him on the inside really for the first time tonight. And look at the run he had there, as he had a great run going out in front. He's going to take the lead once again. Mon going to try that crossover, but he's going to be blocked by the 2 truck. And it's RSR 1, 2, 3 with 8 laps to go.
Sitting in 6th this week in the team championship standings, poised to take over the lead potentially if they get max points for their truck team, as we only scored 3 trucks out of the team. So, you can't get much better than a 1-2-3 finish right now, but they're going to have to play nice as we are coming back to the stripe to go to 7 laps to go. Michael Madden trying to get another look at Cole Martin there on the inside, unable to do so as the 51 gets a big bout of momentum off of turn 4. He is running that Ed Shearer line right now, seeing that it works, but unable to get past Nathan Mon right now.
Man, this has been fantastic racing and among teammates for the lead. Again, side by side going into turn 3. Mon on the inside, Shearer on the high line once again. He's going to get that push from the 51 as well, so this might be a huge momentum run. And we see a little bit of smoke there. I believe we had 1 truck catch the wall coming out of turn number 4. Everybody keeps it straight, no caution on the track with 6 laps to go.
66 machine of the buyer getting into Lucas Lyons. That's what it was on the exit of 4. Just really hard racing out there. Unfortunately for Lyons, he's going to lose a spot and have to really work hard to get back in that top 5. Michael Madden now under attack from the 99 machine of Mike Mosby. And we are under yellow just before it's back in the back of the pack. We will try and figure out exactly who it was. Like we mentioned earlier, it's hard for us to get exactly who it was. Oh, we're seeing there Andrew Harris with some heavy damage and some smoke coming out from behind the truck. Looked like Jason Kratky too. Not exactly sure if that was him or not. Still getting used to all these new trucks, Brandon.
Yeah, it's Andrew Harris with significant damage there to the front, and that's it looks like, I believe he already used the fast repair tonight, because I remember seeing him earlier with some rear damage as well. As we look at the Beer Street Journal wreck replay once again tonight. And you see the 87 going around. One thing we do see is Kevin Winker, one of our early leaders. Oh, wow, I just had a truck just going flying through the air there. And there's Winker. I believe that was,
that was Walt
64
Lipicki.
Of Walt Lipicki. There's the 28 of Clint Hackett that was barrel rolling down the back straightaway. And there's, okay, so it looked like it started up a little bit farther as you see Hackett there. It was Hackett and Winker that started the contact there coming out of turn number 2. Lipicki kind of got bottled into it. Looks like the 42 of Kevin Winker caught the apron, shot up the track just a little bit. Hackett nowhere to go. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. 64 gets caught up, and obviously Andrew Harris got caught up in that one as well.
Well, we have quite a pit strategy on our hands right now. Pretty sure all of the top 20, maybe a little bit less. We'll have to get exact numbers once they all come out, but it looked like about split the field of who wanted to come down and who didn't. But for the most part, our leaders all staying out there on old tires. Really surprised to see that.
You know, it's so short of a sprint to the finish. I'm not sure if anybody's really going to be able to take advantage from as far back as they are as you ride with Andrew Harris. And that's just another one that had nowhere to go. As you saw that 64 truck of Walt Lipicki just come straight across after that wall contact. So Harris, really nothing he could do on that one. His night is done. Also looks like Jacob Zala is out for the rest of the race as well. He's also showing as disconnected. Believe that was just a cumulative damage throughout this thing. But yeah, staying out on the older tires, you're looking at about, we had maybe 12 laps, 10 laps of green flag racing there. So not a ton of wear. I'm not really against this move of staying out. You didn't want to be caught. I know if you're Ed Shearer in that 2 truck, if you came down, there were probably going to be a lot of trucks staying out, just pinning you back. So I understand the thought process on not coming in this time.
Yeah, I get it for the front trucks, but from about 11th or 10th on back, I would have really had to consider coming down to get those fresh tires, hoping to bring the whole field behind me, but that's not what we saw, as our our top 20 is all out there on old tires. And we just like to mention again, the 29 who was sent into the stands, last week's winner out of Rhode Island. He is almost back to the top 10, sitting there in 11th, really running a great race. So really excited, as my Rev Racing teammate, to see him pulling out a really good, strong run here to get back up there. And, Rev Racing in their own right having a really good showing tonight, with Michael Madden being in 4th, Lucas Lyons in 7th, and like I just mentioned, Sean Jensik in 11th, but none are running like RSR tonight, with all 3 of them in the top 3. Cole Martin sitting in 3rd right now, last season's champion out of Virginia. 7 wins in the Truck Series to his name, looking to make it an 8th.
Yeah, and that's going to put him again at the very top when it comes to all-time SRN race winners across all the series, as he came in there along with Jake Rowell right at the top coming into this season, as nice little combination there, as he can talk to his team owner, Jake Rowell, about that wins list. But what a race for both the 51 of Cole Martin and the 29 of Sean Jensik. We touched on both of them, but to be fast, work your way back through the field when you've already used a fast repair. I know that was the case for the 29. Not certain if it was for the 51. Saw him make a couple pit stops. He might not have used one. But when you're having to come from that far back after damage, yes, you have nothing to lose at that point. Just go for it. But to also know that this is a long season, to be able to work your way through the field, not put that truck in any harm, that's a great job tonight from both.
Yeah, really good runs by a lot of trucks out there. But we're going to try and crown ourselves a winner here at the Jayhawk 125. Could we potentially see another new winner here in SRN for our first green-white checker of the night? Ed Scherer looking to be that guy that gets the first win of his SRN career, as he's going to spin the tires a little bit there on the outside line, able to clear his teammate at 21. But Michael Madden got a really good restart, and he's going to have some high momentum there on the I-line, looking to clear Cole Martin there on the inside. Cole Martin's going to really take a battle to his teammate right here of Nathan Mon. RSR is going to have to really be careful to not lean on each other too much.
Yeah, we've seen them race each other hard throughout that last stint before the last caution. I think that might go out the window. They might try to go single file. As I say it, side by side for second, Martin on the inside, Mon and the middle now, as Michael Madden taking a look on the high side. But it's going to be side by side for second. Ed Scherer is going to take the white flag.
1 lap to go here at the Jayhawk 125. Michael Madden and Jonathan Byer looking to spoil the RSR party, but nowhere for Michael Madden to go, as the Nathan Mon machine and Cole Martin are side by side and really not giving him any room to make a pass. I believe we're going to see an RSR top 3 here tonight, as Ed Scherer about to come off of turn 4 and get his first win of his SRN career. He's your winner tonight for the Jayhawk 125, Ed Scherer.
And what a race for second, a drag race down the front straightaway. Nathan Mon takes it by a couple hundredths over Cole Martin, and it is an RSR 1-2-3 as they sweep the podium. And they will get max points as a team tonight. Michael Madden, one of the stronger trucks all night long, going to be 4th. Jonathan Byer, sneaky fast all night long. He's going to round out our top 5.
Lucas Lyons, another rookie with a great run tonight, finishing 6th. Mike Mosby is going to be there in 7th place. Landon Cardullo getting a shout out earlier in the chat, finishing 8th place. David Miller going to be 9th. And Josh Mueller going to round out our top 10.
Just a fantastic race tonight, as we're going to see some celebratory donuts here for the RSR drivers, doing a team style, but most notably the donuts. Oh, first troublesome moment there of the night for Ed Scherer. Yeah. That nose gets caved in there with that contact from Cole Martin as they do the donuts. Looking at the rest of the top 20, by the way, Sean Jensik is going to take the 11th position after his early troubles. Joseph DuPont from 41st. He's going to be our 12th place finisher. Bobby Anderson in 13th. Troy Techmeyer in 14th. Travis Trevelyan will be in 15th position.
Yeah, Sean Kozier out of Rev Racing going to come home 16th. Rick Shigori going to be 17th, coming up all the way from 36th place. Kyle Wimble, we saw him getting into trouble early on, going to come back for an 18th place finish. Cody Riggs going to be 19th. followed by Jason Kratky rounding out your top 20. And his teammates just don't think Ed Scher has enough incident points for the night, as he kept that truck clean all night. So they're just helping him out with that.
How about this? In honor of the Olympics, it looks like we're going to do a little synchronized burnout here as opposed to synchronized swimming, as everybody just joining in the middle at the start-finish line. This is a unique one that you will only see at iRacing, because I don't think you'd ever see a team want to do about $1 million in damage doing this kind of celebration in real life.
Yeah, lucky, like you said, it's iRacing. It's a little hard for us to pull these guys up right now, as we always interview the top 3 after the race. I think they've all blown up their engines now, so maybe we can go ahead and get one of them up here in the booth. So let's go ahead and try and get last season's champion. He's going to be 3rd place tonight, Cole Martin in the 51 machine. Cole, tell us about your race tonight, bud.
It was a dramatic race for me. I got my nose chopped there at the beginning of the race, but feel like the damage was not too bad, but when I came down pits, I had 4 minutes optional, so I had to come down again, get a fast repair, and safely make my way through the field. Just, it was really hectic.
It feels like this season, it's almost been a bit of a different story for you from last season, where last season just out in front a lot of the time. This season just getting caught up in some things early on in these races and having to be resilient through the runs. Tell me about kind of how once you get kind of back there like you were tonight after that first incident, working your way all the way back up from 35th. What is that like when you don't have anything left in terms of the fast repair, and it's that first caution early on that kind of set you back there?
It's very, it's terrible. Like, you gotta be very cautious, because you never know what anyone can do. Like, some people might not know you're there. So, spotter Jake Roel, he told me to be very careful and make your way up there very carefully, and made back up to 3rd and got 1, 2, 3 finish for RSR.
Yeah, it was a great run by RSR tonight after falling to 6th after the first week at Daytona. Cole, this is your 8th win here in SRN, tying it with you, and you mentioned him already, Jake Rowell, your team owner. So you're pretty used to this, so go ahead and give out your shout-outs, thank yous. I know you got some sponsors you want to mention, so the floor is yours, bud.
Yeah, I'd like to thank RSR, everyone over there, Jake for spotting for me, and all the other guys that spot for the other guys that do a really good job. And I'd like to thank Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia, sponsor me this season. And y'all can use my code COLE51 at the checkout to get 10% off any like die casts y'all want from there. Really good spot to shop for die casts, and I think that's about it.
I'm going to go ahead and use that code, as I got a few Kyle Larson pre-orders already. I'm going to have to go ahead and talk to Ben here in a little bit. You know, he's kind of calmed down a little bit, taking the money out of my checkbook. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use that code, Cole. So I'm going to go ahead and send you back down to your team. Great run tonight. And we definitely expect to be talking to you more in the season. So have a good night, man.
Thanks, Greg and Brandon, for all y'all do for broadcasting. Y'all do a great job.
We appreciate that, man. You do a great job as well. So take care, bud.
See ya.
All right, that was your 3rd place finisher, last season's champion, Cole Martin. Giving out a little code for Sandwich Man Racing, Cole51. You heard him there. Let's go ahead and bring up our runner-up. He ran Xfinity last season, 2nd race in the trucks this year. Nathan Mond coming home, runner-up position, P2. Nathan, tell us about your race, bud.
Yeah, man. Felt fast all night. I knew that bottom was going to work. Was kind of iffy on when the high side was going to come in, so I kind of had to figure it out, you know, as the race went on. But I knew when it came down to that last run, about 15 to go, I knew that bottom was just going to be ripping, so I knew I had to hold it down there best I could.
Well, and you also had probably the most exciting moment of the night with the save in turn 3 about midway through the race. I know there's a lot that happens in the race, but what was going through your mind? That thing looked like it was about 60 degrees sideways going into turn 3 with that drift that you caught there. That was an impressive move.
Yeah, I was definitely a little worried there. Just had to recollect myself after I got straightened back out, you know, in the car and emotionally. I'm just a little frustrated about that, but it's all good. You know, had a good run. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw a lot of good, hard racing out there, but you were able to bring it home in second and sweep the top three, getting max points for Royal Smith Racing. I know you guys are excited about that, but Nathan, do you have anybody you want to give a shout out to? Any love yous, thank yous?
Yeah, definitely. Always want to thank my friends and family for supporting me day in, day out. I want to thank my girlfriend Amanda for the support, and a special shout out for tonight for Greg Joyner and Jason Brantley for rooting me on all the way from Wilmington.
Well, he's a smart man, thanking his girlfriend. I always like to mention that. But Nathan, we expect to be seeing you up here more as the season goes on, but we're going to go ahead and send you back down to your teammates. Have a good night, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Well, that is our runner-up for tonight's Jayhawk 125. We have back-to-back new winners on the season, first-time winners, both rookies. Sean Jensick last week. This week, it's Edward Scherer. Ed, tell us about this win. How are you feeling, man?
I'm lost for words, to be honest with you. That's amazing. Oh my God, that's my first ever win in SRN, and it could have been any more better to be the second race of the season. Oh man, what a thrill! Holy cow!
And you did it on a line that not a lot of people really ventured up to, which kind of caught me off guard, because the speed and success you had running up by the wall for the majority of the race. Where'd you get the confidence in running that line where it seems like not many people in the truck race tonight really had that same confidence?
So it's a whole thing from like a couple months back. My friends on iRacing and my current teammates now, they kind of call me, and you guys probably hear from Jovi once in a while, the Kyle Larson, basically. So every time I come to Kansas, I always practice running the top. I love running the top. I'm not the biggest fan of the bottom. I was really sketchy running the bottom that last restart, but I'm like such a big fan of running the top grooves at multiple tracks, including this one. This is my favorite track of all time. I love Kansas. I love how it races, the multi grooves you can run. You can run the middle, you can run the bottom, you can run the top, but with the amount of starts I've had here and the amount of practice I work on the top, I know exactly how to push my truck, how far I need to push my truck, where to let off the throttle, where to get back into it, and it just fits perfect for my type of racing.
Well, you really showed that confidence out there on track, leading 35 laps. We had 20 lead changes in just an 85-lap race, but you led that last lap, so you get the floor, buddy. Who do you got to thank out there? I know you got some sponsors you'd like to give a shout-out to, as well as some maybe teammates or some friends out there. Who you got?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody at Royal Smith Racing. I want a big thank you to Jake Royal for taking the chance on me and bringing me into this fun team. I've never met any more better group of people like Cole, Nathaniel, Michael, Troy, all the Xfinity guys, all the Cup guys. They all respect me and believe in me and push me to where I can be the best week in and week out. I want to thank my spotter and my crew chief, as always, for my entire iRacing career, Connor Cunningham, also known as Combat. He's my best friend. I can never trade him for anybody else. He's the best in the business, and in my opinion, I call him my Alan Gustafson because I'm a big Chase Elliott fan, so we call him off of that. Apex Designs for designing all of our trucks, basically. They also always do a fantastic job of designing all of our trucks and making us look good week in and week out. My mom, my whole family, yeah, just basically all that. I would love to shout Napa, but they won't respond back to me for anything, so I mean, what are you going to do? But other than that, I thank you guys in the booth for allowing us to put on a show like this. Thank you to Tripp and everybody for allowing me to come in and do trucks and be able to race with these competitive guys. It's a blast. I've only been here for 2 weeks, and I'm already having the time of my life doing this, and hopefully I continue to do it more often and get more wins for RSR.
Yeah, well, we appreciate the kind words, man, but you definitely put on a show out there, so we appreciate you for doing that, and you've definitely proved yourself to your RSR teammates out there, man, so big congrats on the first win, the first of many, I'm assuming, and we will see just how your season goes, see if you're up here anymore for the following 18 weeks, Edward, so congratulations, and we will send you back down to your teammates.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Yep. So there you guys have it. An intense but incredible race that we saw here today, Brandon. And yeah, what do you got, man? Are y'all calmed down yet? We thought Daytona was fun. We had no idea Kansas was going to be this much fun.
I'm just thinking that tomorrow night we've got to follow this one. This was honestly, I think I said it about halfway, and I think it held true. This was probably the best race I've seen in SRN in the few seasons that we've had. I know I haven't been here for all of it, but in my time here, I don't think I've seen a race anything like that. And you talk about the intensity that we had tonight. How about an intensity of a different type as we go to the Monster Mile next week for the Truck Series at the Dodging Delaware 125 at Dover.
These admins really put together a fantastic schedule, starting us off at Daytona, giving us a heck of a race at Kansas, and we're only going to see even more racing when we get out to the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware for the Dodging Delaware 125. That will be on Wednesday, July 28th. Time at the bottom there, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. But our next race is going to be tomorrow with the Xfinity Series race for the Jayhawk 150. That's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 Eastern. And Brandon, we've been talking about that. It's going to be a little bit of a different look. Really hard to pass in these Xfinity cars as the predominant line is going to be up against the wall.
Yeah, it's going to be a very different race, almost an inverted look to what you saw tonight, where I think the outside line is going to be the preferred line for the Xfinity cars that just handle way differently with the way that the power is, the way that the downforce is. And I know in our instances running tomorrow night, we're trying to turn around some things after Daytona. We talk about how Daytona throws those landmines and grenades at you. I think we both stumbled on a few of those last week. So hopefully we each get our luck turned around here this week.
Like we said, no fast repairs in that Xfinity Series, so it's going to be really hard to keep that car clean up there on the high line. But we're going to do our best as we get out there tomorrow. Sean Griffith and Jake Ruel will have the call for that. But for now, signing off for myself, Greg Olenik, and Brandon Domingue, we are done for the night. Everybody have a good night. Please, if you enjoyed what you watched tonight, subscribe to the channel. Give us a like so we know that you are enjoying the show. But for now, we just always leave you with go faster.